Slut-shaming is way too common, especially amongst high school and college-aged women.
Shocker, right?
And a new study shows that not only is this practice incredibly damaging to one another,
Almost as if that was the fucking point.
but that it's also highly illogical and has really nothing to do with a woman's sexual behavior.
Highly illogical? Huh. Well, she said it, not me.
So this study was conducted by Elizabeth Armstrong and Laura Hamilton, who are both sociology professors, and they interviewed 53 different women over the course of 5 years. And what they found was that women tend to use the term slut, not in regards to another woman's sexual behavior, but in regards to her social status. So basically, to put this study very bluntly, rich or affluent women tend to use the term slut interchangeably with the term trashy, meaning they call another woman a slut when they think she isn't dressed well, or it seems like she doesn't have the money to make herself look like she's upper or middle class. And then in exchange, poorer or less affluent women tend to use the term slut against somebody who they think comes across as rich or stuck up or snotty.
Wait a minute, so you mean to tell me that these women use the word slut against one another to represent the opposite? Something's not making too much sense right now.
And not only that, but during 5 years over the course of this entire study, not a single participating woman made friends across economic lines. So the study shows that using the term slut doesn't really have anything to do with how a woman chooses to express herself sexually.
I'm gonna have to stop you there to say, I really don't like this whole, how a woman chooses to express her sexuality. Reason why is because I don't really understand why exactly it has to be expressed in such a dangerous or callous manner. I really don't. I mean, how come taking care of your children isn't the one fantastic way to express your sexuality? Why does it have to be wearing really revealing clothing and having sex with a bunch of people? Why can't you just get married and express your sexuality with one person? I've never heard anyone say that. I mean, whenever they do say that, it's always in tandem with going out having a bunch of sex. But they never say, hey, let's be monogamous and forget all that shit. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't really understand why expressing your sexuality is such a, one, important thing, and two, why they have to do it in such a self-destructive manner. Continue.
But instead has a lot to do with family income and with economic inequality. In fact, these women didn't even have solid terms for what they think the word slut really means.
Pause. You mean to tell me that over the course of 5 years, and you studied, well not you, but whoever studied 53 women, you mean to tell me that these women didn't even know what the word slut meant? So, if that's true, how is this test conclusive of anything? The women didn't even know what the word they were using meant. You didn't prove jack shiz. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. If they didn't even know what the word slut meant, how can you say this test is conclusive of anything? For as far as they knew, a slut was just a poor woman, not a sexual, not a promiscuous woman. I mean, bloody hell, I don't even understand how you're able to draw conclusions from this. This is so damn stupid. Keep going.
One of the more affluent women said that it was acceptable for women to have a short skirt on if they're being cool, but if they're dancing really gross with a short skirt on, then like, oh, slut. And one of the less affluent women said sorority girls are kind of whorish and unfriendly and very cliquey.
Never have truer words been spoken.
So what this study really brings to light is that when we don't like another woman, or when we don't like what we think she stands for, we want to insult her in the worst way possible, and we want to really hit her where it hurts.
You know, sometimes I have to wonder, why do people need to conduct these surveys and tests to come to such blatant, simple, and obvious conclusions? I could have told you that. In fact, I have said that in several videos I've made before. You didn't need to take a test. You didn't need to study women over the course of 5 years to figure that out. Honestly, that was a waste of time. I mean, I knew that, and I'm just 19 years old.
And in our mind, the best way to do that is to bring her morality into question, or to suggest that she's something other than sexually pure.
It's not the fact that she isn't sexually pure, it's the fact that she has no sexual marketplace value, okay? I mean, if anyone can obtain the stock of sex from that woman, then that means that its price value is pretty low. So, I mean, no one's going to want to invest in a stock that nobody wants or that isn't prospering, right? That would be ridiculously stupid. That's why her sexual marketplace value declines when she has sex with a bunch of men. So when you get stuck with the label of a slut, most men are only going to try to talk to you so they can do the do. And so women, because they're very passive creatures, know that they can't just go around fighting a bunch of people because that's unattractive. What they have to do is control the social sphere, because after all, women completely control the social sphere. And so lots of women will spread rumors throughout the social sphere about one girl in order to make her seem unattractive to the males, or to make it seem that the only thing she's good for is getting sex from males. So yeah, it's all about passive aggression when it comes to women.
What this is essentially a real-life version of Mean Girls playing out over and over, year after year, at every high school and every college around the country.
Funny thing about the movie Mean Girls is that a lot of people liked it because of how accurately it depicted reality. You know, it's kind of funny because, you know, when I was younger, or like when I got into high school and I watched Mean Girls a second time, I was like, bloody fucking hell, this is how girls really talk to each other. Like, women are some vindictive, catty, immature creatures when they're in high school. Just saying, objectively speaking. Of course, this isn't all women, like, don't comment on my page. No, I know not all women are like that, but an overwhelming majority are, so yeah.
And this study really highlights two very gross and disturbing facts about our culture.
Yeah, no it doesn't. You were the one that said that these women didn't even know what the word slut meant when they were using it. No, nobody is saying that. First of all slut shaming really is just calling a woman a slut. And the word slut is very point of fact. Either you are a promiscuous woman or you are not. So when you are slut shaming, or when you're just calling a woman what she is, you're just calling her what she is. A slut. A woman that goes around and has lots of sex and is not compensated for it. It's really point of fact. It's really simple. Really is no slut shaming, because you have to understand, if you say that you are slut shaming a woman, you are implying that she's a slut when she may not necessarily be a slut, and thus it dilutes the term. And I don't like it when terms get diluted, because then it loses its power, and I don't like that. Really don't. But I guess I'm just some nappy-head nigga on the internet, so what difference does it make if I like it or don't like it?
Now, the first one just has to do with slut shaming in general, because when we slut shame women, what we're really doing is propagating the idea that women are not allowed to express themselves sexually, and that even though we're just human beings who have the very same sexual desires as men, if we are to act on those sexual desires, if we're to express those to other people,
multiple people you don't know,
then we're somehow less moral human beings, or somehow worse people because of it.
No, nobody's saying that you're a bad person. They're just saying that they don't want to have sex with you because you have been ran through, and the chances are you have a lot of emotional damage. That is what they're saying. Men are saying, I'm not going to deal with a woman that has been ran through by a bunch of guys who didn't care about her, so she can bring all that BS back to me.
And secondly, the fact that we're slut-shaming across economic lines just shows that we've completely fallen prey to the consumeristic culture. It shows that the one thing that we really value in a friendship is economic status and how much money somebody has.
She said it, not me.
And that economic capital translates 100% into social capital. And that's especially shown by the fact that not only were these girls slut-shaming each other across economic lines, but they also were incapable of making any friendships across economic lines. So not only is this practice of slut-shaming a very illogical and just dumb thing to do all around,
she said it, not me.
But it's also incredibly damaging.
Almost as if that was the fucking point.
The most recent example of that being the UCSB shooting.
Is this woman really about to somehow link Elliot Rogers to slut-shaming? Oh, I have to see this. This is gonna be fucking good.
And one of the authors of this study actually commented on that shooting. As you might remember from the news coverage of that, Elliot Rodger in his manifesto vowed to, quote, slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut. The irony here is that he's also complaining that those very same people he's calling sluts are refusing to sleep with him.
Well, it seems that he misspoke. He should have just said that they're a bunch of blonde, spoiled bitches. Because after all, a slut is a girl that has sex with every guy at the party. A bitch is a girl that has sex with every guy at the party but you. I don't remember where I heard that joke from. but I do remember thinking it was hilarious.
Now, Elizabeth Armstrong commented on this, and she said the shooting highlighted that slut is simply a misogynistic catch-all, a verbal utility knife that young people use to control women and create hierarchies.
Okay, two things with that. One, it's not misogynistic, it's point of fact. Either you're a promiscuous woman or you're not. Second thing, now you're saying that somehow slut is a word used to control women, but is it really? Let's think about this one here for a second. If a woman is a slut and she wants to have sex with as many guys as she can, well then guess what? Her being labeled as a slut only helps her obtain more men that want to just have sex with her. So she gets exactly what she wants for being a slut. Well, see, but here's the thing, and what I've realized is that no, women don't actually want to go around and get a whole bunch of that, or at least not women who were labeled sluts. But that is a video for another time, because I can go on all day about that. I just think it's funny how people say they use the word slut to try to control women, as if they can't just simply ignore being called a slut and do whatever they want to do. I mean, you can just shrug your shoulders if someone calls you a slut. So, I'm getting some dick, and there's no controlling there. All you have to do is just say, I don't care if you call me a slut, and then just keep fucking whoever you want to have sex with.
So slut shaming is clearly something that needs to stop, and there are a couple ways that we can go about doing that. The first is just to stop using the term slut altogether, and that goes for both men and women. Everybody needs to stop calling women sluts, because when we do that, it only perpetuates the idea that women are somehow not wholly human, and that we're not free to express ourselves sexually, and that if we do, we're somehow a lesser human being than our colleagues and our peers.
It is not about whether or not you are free to express yourself sexually. It's about the amount of people you express yourself sexually with. Again, men want women who are loyal and trustworthy. And if we see that you have no issue with switching between different dicks, we're going to say, well, clearly she's not loyal, so tip my invisible hat to you. I'm going to go over to this girl right here who's never had dick before, so she can become loyal to me and only me. Sorry, that's the way the game is played. Men want loyal women in relationships. Sluts don't seem to be the most loyal individuals in the world. Wrap us up.
And secondly, as women, we really need to start doing a better job of standing up for ourselves and of standing up for women's rights. And that doesn't mean that you need to go out and become best friends with every other woman on the planet. And I'm not even saying that you can't criticize another woman or disagree with her publicly. But
yes, you are, especially when you said we need to stop calling people sluts.
what we really need to do is to start channeling that disagreement in a way that doesn't set women back as a whole and that doesn't take a stand against women's rights. So as always, please leave me your comments in the section down below. Let me know, what do you think about this study, both in terms of slut shaming and in terms of these sort of social and economic lines that we've drawn in the sand against each other. And also let me know, what do you think needs to be done to stop the practice of slut shaming?
Well guys, that is the end of her video and subsequently the end of mine. Honestly, this whole slut shaming thing has oftentimes thrown me for a loop, which is why I have lots of video responses about it. A lot of women need to understand that the word slut is point of fact. Either you are a slut or you're not, okay? Listen, the only way the word slut can control you is if you're not content with yourselves. I want you to think about this. If you're a woman and you've made it this far, think. If someone calls you a slut, why does that bother you? If you're not a slut, why would someone calling you a slut mess with you? Just think about that one. That being said, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.